This was the Milan board last season.
That have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
But maybe this summer, Milan are actually cooking with their new sporting director Tare, as they have completed another signing, but in a critical position with Theo Hernandez leaving the club going to Al Hilal. They have signed Pervis Estupinan from Brighton. I'm going to explain why this is a fantastic deal for Milan. The price, the player, what can Milan fans expect from the player, and what other positions do Milan need to strengthen in order to get a top 4 finish in the Serie A for this season. So Pervis Estupinan, I love the player. That's why I'm wearing the Ecuador shirt. I think he's dealt with a lot of injuries. If you look at his injury record, hamstring injury, thigh injury, obviously he had the ankle surgery back in the 2024 summer. That's why he missed the Copa America that summer. So Pervis has dealt with a lot of injuries throughout his career. But one thing is, he's a baller. On the ball, his crossing is absolutely elite. Unai Emery loved the player when he was at Villarreal. Obviously, Pervis was very influential in Villarreal getting to the semi-final of the Champions League in 2022. He was with the squad when they won the Europa League, but he wasn't really involved in the play at all. So his real breakout season was 21-22 season. Then makes the move to Brighton. De Zerbi really influencing his game a lot more, and I think you saw Pervis just take that stride in his career. It's just the problem that the injuries have kind of slowed down his progress. Now he's 27, off a season where he had some decent performances. I think with Brighton, he played a lot more games, which I think was the most critical point for Pervis because he had dealt with so much injuries for pretty much 2 seasons. Having a full season, playing over 30 games, I think that was good for his confidence and just trusting in his body again, because when you're dealing with so much injuries, it's more of a mental battle more than a physical battle. Now he gets this move. I think Pervis, he's always talked about his dream was playing for Manchester United. That was his obsession. I'm surprised Manchester United didn't go for the player, but maybe with Premier League tax, the transfer fee would have been 35-40 million. But AC Milan, after they had that dispute with Fenerbahce to go for Brown, Pervis is an established Premier League player who's played at the World Cup, has played in the Copa America, dealt with the World Cup qualifiers, played in the Champions League, compared to Brown, who's very much inexperienced and going to Fenerbahce. Was Pervis really the backup plan this entire time? I found that a little bit strange. Nonetheless, Milan signed Pervis for 17 million. In today's market, in today's football, where transfer fees are going crazy, they're all moving like OF accounts out there where, oh, subscribe to my account for $10 a month and it's just feet pics. Pervis for 17 million? Milan board. Hey, maybe Tare is actually the one, guys. They have a good deal with Ricci to bring him into the midfield from Torino. Obviously, Luka Modric, age, free transfer. I could understand it. Do it for 1 season. Get the PR going again for Milan. Lifelong Milan fan, it looked like from his boyhood photos. So I can understand the Modric deal. You got to bring some experience into this team. And now getting Pervis, I think Milan have been doing some smart business overall this season. I'm going to talk about more what they need after this signing. But now they signed Pervis. What do you expect from Pervis if you're a Milan fan? One, his crossing is absolutely elite. He can put it on a dime like he's CP3 or John Stockton out there. His passing is a little bit erratic. It's not the most consistent when it comes to accuracy, and he's going to have to find that sort of connection with Rafael Leao, because one thing Rafael loved was Theo Hernandez. They just had a brotherhood. They just had a connection with each other where Theo would be making overlapping runs or making runs down the middle. It was just such a beautiful connection. When it was on point and when both players were engaged into the game, oh, Theo Hernandez and Rafael Leao were absolute money to watch. That's what Estupiñán has to work on, is building a connection with Rafael Leao, because we know Rafael Leao is still the best player by far at Milan. So that's one thing that Pervis has to improve on. I would say he's a good defender, and with Ecuador, like, they are such a good defensive team, and Pervis just exemplifies it more. Obviously, you have Pacho, you have Joel Ordóñez, you have Hincapié, but Pervis does a very good job also in one-on-one defending. You know, he's dealt with Saka, he's dealt with Salah, so I think Pervis can do well in the Serie A, because when you look at like the right wing position in the Serie A, like Orsolini, and that's about it. Because there's not a lot of dangerous players out there. Like Conceição, like come on, Conceição against Saka and Salah is no match. So I think Pervis can defensively do very well in the Serie A. And I think his ability going forward will add another dimension to this Milan team. Obviously, we'll have to see what he can do with Santi, because Santi with crosses, not the greatest. He's not the greatest player in the air. He's much more a ball to feet sort of striker where he wants to lay it off to a Rafael Leao or a Pulisic. So his real weakness is the passes. He has actually quite strong aerial ability considering his height, but it's not the greatest strength that he has within this game. So I think Milan are getting a good deal for 17 million. Because you look at the left back market, who else are they going to get? I mean, they could have gone for like Miguel Gutierrez from Girona. I think that would have been a good option. Otherwise, like, you're not going to get like a Nuno Mendes. You're not going to get a Robertson. You're not going to get these sort of players. So for Milan, I think this was the smartest deal. And to get the best player at that age, at that price, yes, the injuries are a big concern. But Pulisic, didn't he have big concerns about his injury history before he made the transfer to Milan? And look how that has worked out. I think Pulisic has been a very good signing for Milan so far. Yes, he had one big injury last season where it was like, what, a month out? So I think Pervis dealing with 1 game a week, because we know Milan, there's no European football. Allegri, the new manager. I think Allegri just likes these established, experienced players, international as well for his national team. I think Allegri will really like Estupiñán. And having 1 game a week, I think that will help also Estupiñán with the recovery. There's not so much strain on his body. Obviously, you still have the long travel with international football. I think making the transfer to Milan is a great step in Pervis's career. Yes, he would have dreamed of going to Manchester United like I talked about, because he's talked about it in interviews before. But you're still going to one of the biggest clubs in the world in Milan. Like, can you imagine telling this to an Ecuadorian? And that's why I tweeted it out 10 years ago. The only player they had was Antonio Valencia at Manchester United. Now, they have a Champions League winner at PSG with Pacho, Moises Caicedo at Chelsea, and Pervis Estupinan at AC Milan. Like, Ecuadorian football, people, invest in the stocks right now. Invest, invest, invest. This is no Jordan Belfort commercial, because they are established players, technically gifted, and hustle. And he will run all the time, Pervis Estupinan. He's got an engine about him, and that's something that Fabian Hertzler, the Brighton manager, talked about.
He shows his skills, he shows why we all love him, and it's because of his intensity, it's because of his resilience.
I really think this is a good deal for Milan in a market where they can't spend a lot of money and they still have to fill out other positions like a right back. I still think they need a backup striker, because obviously Morata will leave, Tammy Abraham's gone, obviously Jovic is gone, so I think getting a backup striker is what they need, and another midfielder. They need a creative outlet. I would just love to see Liberali get a chance. Trust in the young. Why are Serie A teams so... Allegri's pretty decent with nurturing young talent and bringing them up into the first team. So I hope he does that with Liberali, because that's what Milan really need, is a creative outlet. They have a creative outlet now with Pervis Estupinan, with the Rafael Leao. So that left side still for Milan is cooking. Now they got to get fixed that right side. You only have Pulisic, and who else? Who else are you going to get in the right back position? Because for me, when I look at the landscape of football around the world, the weakest position is the right back right now. People can be critical of strikers, but the right back, oh, it's the Saharan desert right now, people. It is drying up. So if you're Milan, a good right back option would be El Halali from Espanyol. Just do some research on him. I think he would be a good option. Overall, this window, I think Milan fans can be satisfied considering the circumstances with finances, and obviously losing Reinders, losing Theo Hernandez is big losses in my opinion, but that's just the Milan board. That's Red Bird Capital. They're trying to play this money ball bullshit, but the bullshit will eventually stop and people will realize, hey, spend some money. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We can still attract the talent like Pervis Estupinan to the club. Even though they're somewhat a sinking ship with how they've been performing the last couple of years, I respect highly Pervis taking his talents and trying to rectify the sinking ship with Allegri, with Rafael Leao, with Maignan, with Pulisic, Santi Jimenez. For the fee, for the player, for the club, for the league, I really think this is like an 8.5 out of 10 signing. The reason why it's like not a 9 or 9.5 is just because of the injury history of Pervis Estupinan. But you're getting a quality left back here if you're Milan. A quality one. And maybe some Milan fans don't really watch like Premier League or they don't watch international football. Pervis is an underrated left back. He had a really good first season with Brighton. Kind of fell off because of the injuries. But if he can just stay injury free, I think Milan have done a sensational business here, and now they have an established player, 27 years old. This is no project player. Oh, we need to bring him up. Oh, we need to be patient with him. No, you expect performances right away from Pervis because of his age, his experience, and the quality he has. So Milan fans can have expectations with Pervis Estupinan. They still need a right back, they still need a center back, and they still need a backup striker. But Milan's transfer window so far, I think Tare is doing pretty well. Maybe they did the right thing in hiring Tare. Allegri, I still have my question marks about him because I think he's a dinosaur, but I think he's the right manager for what Milan need to do. They need to rebuild, they need to bring stability, they need to bring some pride back for the club and the badge. So Allegri will do well this season, and the expectation will definitely be getting a top 4 finish with the signings they've done so far. Let me know your thoughts though of Pervis Estupinan going to Milan. Do you think it's a good deal, a bad deal, or an okay deal for Milan and Pervis? And remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.